Welcome into an early edition of Blazers Game Day. Don't get upset. Don't freak out. Your clock's not wrong. This is a 2 o'clock edition because the Blazers are on the road tonight for game 2 of this 5-game East Coast trip. Today, taking on the Orlando Magic down in the town that Disney built. And we're going to have some fun getting you ready for it. This is Blazers Game Day. I'm your host, Chris Burkhardt, joined today by super producer Brendan Slaughter. If you want to join the conversation, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. Or, of course, you go to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio. And it's 2025. Y'all have social media, at Rip City Radio 620 on social media, and at Chris J. Burkhardt. Now that that's out of the way, let's have some fun. We're going to talk Blazers today. Brendan and I are also going to take a minute during the show a little bit later. Just talk a little bit of college football because you know what? It's a Monday and there's plenty to talk about. We're going to talk about that too. But we got to get you ready for Trailblazers action, hoping that the Blazers can right the ship here after a tough loss in Miami, 136-131 at the hands of the Miami Heat in a game that it pitted two teams whose pace has really, really been their style. There's been a lot made of what Coach Spoelstra has done and changed that offense. They had, the 53-point quarter just a few games ago. The offense can move. The team moves. And the Blazers were tested by that. How well were the Blazers going to move? How well were they going to respond, et cetera, et cetera? Now, I thought the Blazers played a decent ball game. They gave themselves chances to win. They stayed with Miami for a large chunk of the game. They had the leads at certain points, but Miami was just able to grab it and never let go. Now you look at how this game went on. Now Portland does get a big lead early in the first quarter, but then Miami just storms back. They end the first half on a 12-2 run. They take the lead. Portland bounces back in the third, outscores Miami 32-28, but then Miami gets those points back. They outscore them 36-34 in the fourth, and they grab the 5-point victory. So the thing was really back and forth, back and forth. A couple notes that I had mentioned watching this game, and you heard it on the television broadcast about how, the team that wins this game is going to be the team that lasts longer, because what team's going to get tired first? And I noticed at a couple points throughout this game, the way Miami was pushing that tempo, there was a couple times where you could see the Drew Holiday and company where they were sucking wind, so to speak, right? They were huffing. They definitely, cardio was being tested. And that's good. That's good against a team like Miami. See how good you are, and you're going to have to sustain that for long periods of time over this season and only get better and find ways to win these type of ball games. But the one thing I will say about this game is you look at the box score, you look how the thing plays out. And I said this on the phone with Chad earlier today about how this is the type of game that I think Portland of 2 years ago, last year, rolls over, and that you don't really have confidence that they're going to keep it close or confidence that they're going to have a chance to get back in and win it late. That's not the case. These last few games that have been tough, they've taken them on the chin. They found ways to keep playing and playing hard, and that's the type of team that you can rally around, the type of team you can get behind. Right now, let's look at the box score, see how things played out for your Portland Trailblazers. Toumani Camara, he had 13 points, 7 boards, and an assist. He did shoot 5 of 17 from the floor, including 3 of 13 from beyond the arc. I guess you just got to get out there and take as many shots as you can. You got to hope that he hits more of those if you need him to be a true 3-and-D guy. Denny Avdia, 33 points. He's continued his absolute insane start to the season. 11 rebounds, 8 assists as well, just 3 turnovers. 13 points and 7 rebounds and 2 block shots from Donovan Clingan. Drew Holiday, 18 points, 9 rebounds, 13 assists, 21 points from Shaedon Sharpe. 3-point shot, still a struggle. 1 of 8 from beyond the arc. 18 points from Jeremy Grant to lead the Trailblazers bench. And another night, too, where you look at the situation. This was something that Dave Deckard brought up. If you're not a great shooting team, but you can find ways to get a lot of shots, it will usually balance that out. I mean, Portland went 49 of 109. Miami, on the other hand, made 49 shots as well of 96. So they took 13 fewer shots, made the same amount. So they shot over 50%. Portland shot just 45, but Portland was just done in big time by the free throw line, and then poor 3-point shooting. Miami wasn't great from beyond the arc either. Miami was just 10 of 35 from deep, good for 28.6%, as where Portland was 14 of 51, good for 27.5. Neither one of those numbers is great when it comes to putting yourself in a good position to win. But I guess when two teams have that same number, one of them has to win, right? And so you look at the box score and you're like, okay, so what was the big difference in this game? Well, in a game that was decided by 5 whole points, the difference is the free throw line. Miami held a 9-point advantage at the free throw line. They were 28 of 36, whereas Portland was 19 of 23. That's going to do it. That's going to do you in. Portland won the rebound battle. They won the offensive rebound battle handily, 22 rebounds to just 12 on the offensive glass for Miami. They did what they needed to do. They didn't steal the ball like they had been in past games. Miami absolutely torched them there. But again, you look at these things, and Portland did what they needed to do to make this a ball game. But this is another game that you can look at, and this has just kind of been the way of the world this year. Portland lost. If you look at these games Portland has lost, the very first place I'm going to look every single time is the 3-point shooting in the box score. Every single time. Did they shoot well and lose, or did they shoot poor and lose? And in this one, they shot poor. Again, 27% from beyond the arc. You look at the guys who you look at to be your best shooters, your best scorers. Shaedon Sharpe, 1 of 8 from beyond the arc. That's 12.5%. That can't carry on in the long run. I mean, the team's best shooter from beyond the arc over the last week has been Dwap Reith, and that's telling you something. When a center off the bench is your most reliable 3-point shooter, that's telling you something. Toumani Camara, 23%. Denny, 33%. Jrue Holiday, 30%. Those numbers are not great. Jeremy Grant, 5 of 9, 1 of 3 from on the arc. And I know this one sounds weird, but I would have liked to find ways to get him more shots. Get him going. He's been really, really good this year. He's hit clutch shots. Toumani Camara taking 17 on a night where he can't hit anything. Sometimes you just got to get the ball out of their hands. I'm also a fan of letting them try to fight their way through these things, but in these type of games, find ways to make those buckets. And I said this to you all earlier. When the 3-point shot isn't falling, just deviate from it. Find something that is working. Get to the rim. Maybe attack the rim just a little bit more so that you don't lose the free throw battle by 9 points and 13 attempts. Those little things can start to set you up for success. But in the long run, once again, where you can look at this game and go, I like what I saw, is the fact that this Blazer team didn't fold. They just kept fighting. And the fight, the effort is something that you can get behind. I was talking to Brendan about it before the show, where he was like, oh, gosh, I need someone to vent to about college football for a second. And we were talking about Oregon State football, and I promise we're actually going to talk about that in the show a little bit later. But it's like the Beavers go out and they just take arguably, I think you could say one of the worst losses in program history when you lose to a winless Sam Houston team that has been a FBS Division I program, Brendan, for less time than my youngest daughter has been alive.
Yeah, it's not good, Chris.
That is not good. But as Brendan and I were talking, he comes from a long lineage of Beaver fans, grandpas and grandpas before them, who have watched every single Beaver game under the sun, who will tell you that was probably one of the worst ones I ever watched. And when the team's not giving you effort, you don't want to buy a ticket and you don't want to go to Reeser. But if your team is losing, but they are playing a good brand of basketball or a good brand of football, and they're giving you something that you can go, you know what? They lost that game, but man, it still feels good to be a fan of Team X. That's a good feeling. And that builds over a long time. And right now, I will tell you that this Blazer team is giving that vibe, the good one, where, oh, man, they lost to Miami. Let's look at this. Let's nitpick it, find the things that we can get better at. But, gosh, it feels good that this Blazer team's given me effort. I mean, at this point, last year, you've been ran out of the gym multiple times already. These are the type of games where over the last handful of years, you would have been like, okay, when you are up by 17, and next thing you know, you're down by 10. I guess Portland's largest lead was 12. So when you're up by 12 and the next thing you know, you're down by 12, that 24-point swing, that's the type of thing like, okay, I'm done. Nothing I can do is even working. I mean, Portland, when they had that largest lead, it was in the first quarter when it was 15-13. And then Miami flipped that around. They led by 12 when they were up 94-82, and Portland didn't stop. That's why it ended up being just a 5-point game. That's the type of thing that you can go, I like that. I like what I see. I don't like the loss. No one likes the loss. But I have said this all year long. I said this last year too. Sometimes the way you play matters too. And when you give something to be proud of, you go, okay, we're going to go get the next one. You're going to go get the next one. You don't give you something to be proud of, you might be like Brendan, who's going, I don't even want to look at the calendar because I don't want to know when the next one is. Like,
only 2 more.
Exactly.
And it's Blazer season, baby.
Exactly. So the loss hurts.
I'm a glass half full guy,
Well, that's
Burkhardt.
good.
You know this.
That's good, but even the biggest glass will test you with this Beaver season. But you still got a chance here to get some games. I mean, you still have Orlando, you still have New Orleans, you still have Dallas on this trip, who all those teams are winnable. Houston's a good team. But the point is, it's not like, okay, road trip's done. This is an Orlando team you go in and face tonight that you hopefully can bounce back. But this is the crazy part about this team right now is we all predicted that this team would be much better this year, and they are. But they're also going to have their ups and downs. Right? When I jumped on the What podcast with Tara and Rose, I said one of the songs, we had to pick a playlist for the year. I picked Elevator Operator by a band called Electric Callboy because the song is literally about an elevator or a metaphor. But let's just say it's about an elevator. And elevators do what, Brendan? They go up and they go down. And the reason I picked that song is because that's what this season's going to be. There's going to be ups and there's going to be downs. There's going to be nights where you cannot get past Miami. There's going to be nights where you can't get past the injury-depleted Lakers. And then there's going to be nights when you beat the Nuggets and you beat the Oklahoma City Thunder. Nothing makes sense. So you take with it, whatever you can. You take that, you build on it. And so that loss in Miami, you wipe the slate clean. Coach Splitter puts down a couple notes. This is what we're going to work on. And you hope they come out a little bit better against Orlando. Now, again, you look at the game, it's not as if the team played terribly, but they didn't shoot the ball very well. This team is going to, all year long, unless they pull a trade or something clicks in the shooting form, they are going to live and they are going to die by how good or bad that three-point shooting is on any given night. The comeback against Oklahoma City a few nights ago, what sparked that? Some pretty hot shooting from beyond the arc. Jeremy Grant or Drew Holiday hits 3 in a row. Dwap Reith does a Jordan shrug because he's hitting them. The threes are falling. The comeback is on. The Blazers win. When the threes aren't falling, you look good for spurts, but just not good enough to get over the hump. They will live and they will die by how good their three-point shooting is. Hopefully it is better tonight in Orlando. This is Blazers Game Day. I'm your host, Chris Burkhardt. If you want to follow me on social media, Chris J. Burkhardt is the name. You can also follow the station at Rip City Radio 620. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do. Head on over to youtube.com. Follow us live there as well. We're going to take a quick little break. When we come back, we're going to head to the Coach's Corner, hear what Coach Tiago Splitter had to say after this game, and continue to get you ready for Magic versus Blazers. Also, 2 of the teams, who else they got? Mavericks, Rockets, 2 teams, and they played the Thunder. I mean, over the last week, they get 3 of the 4 teams that don't have an S at the end of their name. Heat, Magic, Thunder. Just need Utah in there. Little things you think about when you cover the NBA. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after the break here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. Oh, mountain cold refreshment. Choose chill. Okay, we need to talk to our sponsors. Well, I need some of that mountain cold refreshment. So do you ever sit there like when you hear the tab break right there in the ad, it kind of makes you thirsty. It kind of makes you thirsty. But this is Blazers Game Day presented by Coors Life. If you want to join the conversation, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. And of course, head over to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, and get on the chat there. You heard the intro. It's time to head to the coach's corner after a tough loss like that. Thiago Splitter, he was short, but he was sweet. So let's hear what he had to say.
I think when you think about a game, both teams driving the ball a lot, trying to get to the free throw line and also making their defense shrink and then kick out and shoot a basketball, right? So I think both teams couldn't make a three. Both shoot 28%, but they just get to the free throw line way more than us. We got offense rebounds, we create turnovers. They also create turnovers. So it's in the end of the day, it's a little bit make or miss. But that second quarter was really poor by us. They scored 45 points, and that hunted us the whole game, right?
You mentioned them getting to the free throw line more. You could sense some frustration with your guys, especially down the stretch. Is that one of those situations where you just tell them to keep their focus?
Yeah, you try to keep them focused. You ask them to play hard. That's all I can do, to be honest.
What did you think of CD tonight?
Great. CD came in with some energy that we needed, made some good plays, gave some rest to Drew and to Danny. We have, some pointers out. So CD is helping us to bring the ball, bring energy, get some stops with his physicality. So he was good.
Coach, what would you attribute as the main reason why you guys struggled in the half court against the Heat? Well,
it's really hard to guard them. You got to stay in front of them. If not, they punish you, right? So I think it took some time for us to figure it out a little bit. I think second half was better in that term of just containing the drives. But then, Jovic hit a couple big shots. We have some, not very smart fouls. Those little details make you win or lose a game.
How difficult is it to play well in transition without it breaking down your own legs on defense, sir?
Well, I think both teams do that. That's why we try to manage their minutes, and because I know it's extremely hard to do this for more than 35 minutes.
And there you hear from Thiago Splitter. And of course, the second quarter, he says, did them in. It wasn't great for your Portland Trail Blazers. They were outscored by Miami 45-35 on a night where defensively they were trying to get locked in. They held Miami to 27 in the first quarter, 28 in the third. That 45-point, 10-point differential in the second quarter, definitely a reason that this game gets out of hand for Portland. And you heard him say it right at the beginning. Both teams were shooting poor from three. So where was the game going to be decided? Because I wholeheartedly, the Blazers team is going to be as good or as bad as their three-point shooting all year long. It was bad. So you could say, okay, they lost. But it's not necessarily the reason why, because Miami was just as bad. But the difference was at the free throw line, where Miami got 13 more attempts and made 9 more shots than the Trailblazers did, and that is a big difference. I mean, those 9 freebies in a game that was decided by 5 points, yeah, you can bet that was a difference maker, and you heard Thiago talk about it. So this team right now, I think Thiago and the team still trying to figure out how to deal with these rotations and what's going on with obviously no Matisse Thybulle, the loss of Blake Wesley, which hurts this team because he's been good defensively off the bench, gives them a point guard to play. And I think you're also seeing, quite frankly, how you are missing Scoot Henderson. Everyone's talked about the progression of Scoot, and is he going to make that star jump? And, he's the 3rd overall pick, and he needs to be great, and this and that. And I have contended since day one that Scoot Henderson doesn't need to be like Dame, where Dame can go off and drop 70 on your head, right? Or 50-point games felt normal. He needs to be more like a Jason Kidd or a Chris Paul. Now, to be clear, I'm not saying he's either of those players, but those two played a game where they could slow it down, and their focus was always setting the rest of the team up. Chris Paul never needed to be the guy scoring the rock, but when you need him to go drop 30, he would. Jason Kidd, when you need him to go have a big game, he would. But their focus was always getting the team where they need to go. And that's how I see Scoot Henderson built, as his focus being getting the team in position so that the offense can find success. So you want to talk about the value of Scoot Henderson, and is he hitting, his ceiling, and how good can he be, etc. Now, you are seeing the value in Scoot Henderson play out right now, because whether it's the starting guard of the future or as this team's backup, they are missing him. They are missing a guy that can slow it down. They're missing a guy that can attack the rim, because he does that well, get to the line. And then, of course, Damian Lillard, they need a shooter. Their shooting has been terrible. And they have one of the best in the league just not playing this year. And we got into this argument with Blazer fans the other day. Well, he's not a great shooter. What are you talking about? He's not a great shooter. Damian Lillard has made shots that most humans can only dream about making. Well, he's not like a catch and shoot guy like you. Who is? Who is, right? There are so many different types of shooters. There are the types like a Klay Thompson who can go score 50 points while taking 3 dribbles an entire game because everything's a catch and shoot, and he's one of the best at it. Jeremy Grant, pretty good at that catch and shoot, especially when for some reason, when he gets the ball up high, when he gets the ball at his chest, like right above his shoulders, he can just grab it and shoot it. Shoots it well. But there's also the guy that can create their own shot and has the ability to create space between he and the defender to get shots up. Damian Lillard is one of the best in the world at that. And there's guys like Steph Curry who, it doesn't matter. Catch and shoot, dribble and shoot, run and shoot, shoot. I don't know. Whatever different types of shot there are, he's going to make it. He's going to be one of the best at it. But having that guy on the bench hurts you too. But the whole point is, back to those guards, is like I said, you're missing a guy like Scoot Henderson right now. A guy who can run your offense and a guy who can attack the rim. So the team's just figuring out what to do until he can hopefully come back. Now, the original timeline was like 6 to 10 weeks, something like that. I think we're at about 7 right now. So hopefully the timetable or an update's coming soon, because the Blazers are in desperate need of someone to do something. The team looks good. The team has played good. There's just little holes in this team that I hope Scoot Henderson can help fill. Because, man, I guarantee you he'll be able to attack the rim or at least find an open shooter. And maybe that type of gravity when you have to be wary of a guy who can attack the rim, maybe you draw a defense in, and that leads to open shots. And you would hope that maybe these guys can start hitting them. This is Blazers Game Day. I'm your host, Chris Burkhardt. Getting you ready for Blazers versus Magic today down in Orlando, the city that Disney built. You ever been to Orlando, Brendan?
I have, actually. I've been to Disney World.
I'm gonna say, I hate to cut you off, but I'm gonna say that as I asked if you've been to Orlando, that just absolutely feels like a Slaughter family vacation day. Was it?
No, actually, it was a solo Brendan and his buddy trip.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I mixed up Orlando with Cabo San Lucas or wherever it is. I've seen all your photos from.
Yes. So most recently, that was when my sister got married down in Cabo. So the family took a trip down there. But no, the Florida's a little far for the pilgrimage for the whole family. So we were always more of a Disneyland family for sure. We've been there a couple times.
Nice. Never been down to the old Disney World, just Disneyland. Big fan.
Yeah, the cool thing about Disney World, Chris, and again, each to their own. Everyone's got their own kind of thing that they really like with theme parks. I found I'm a big-time water park guy. The water parks at Disney World, out of this world.
Okay, I'm down with that, especially in that Florida
Not
climate.
everyone likes a water park, but I really like a water park, and they were, to this day, I still tell people how awesome it was.
See, I would probably enjoy a water park because I'm like a fish. Put me in water, I'm going to swim all day long. The only bad part about water parks is I have a 10-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a 3-year-old. Therefore, I am just on lifeguard duty 24/7 at a water park. Kind of zaps the entertainment factor.
Yeah, I think if you told your little ones you guys were going to a water park, Chris, you might not sleep until you guys went.
Hey, they love going to
Yeah.
they love going just to Great Wolf Lodge.
Well, yeah, that's at 29, Chris. If I had an excuse to go, I'd still probably like. I mean, I'm the same way. Get me to water anytime, man. Great Wolf Lodge is still fun.
Yes. But Orlando, the only point I brought up is when I joke about the city that Disney built, it is a weird city because it feels like it shouldn't exist. Like it's just like in the middle of the Florida swamps. And then there's just a town where like the branding on everything is Mickey Mouse. Like, guys, Universal Studios is there too, but the branding on everything is Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, no, you when you realize like, okay, Miami, Tampa, the two sides, you got the keys to the south, and it was like, okay, yeah, Walt Disney found a bunch of swampland and turned it into what we know now.
Got it for cheap and built a
so
dream.
cheap.
All right, we're going to take a quick little break here, though, on Blazers Game Day. When we come back, we're going to talk more about this Orlando Magic team, what you can expect. And, of course, I am going to ask Brendan about his Beavers because sometimes you just got to open the wounds, man. It's the best way to let them heal. Chris Burkhardt here with you, joined by Brendan Slaughter on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio, 620. Welcome back into the not fifth quarter. This is Blazers Game Day. Don't get oh no, what happened? The game's over. No, it's just getting started. Brendan over there, just so you know, don't panic. That is that happened last time. That's what happens when you copy and paste the log. Don't panic. Don't panic. It's not your fault. It is not your fault. But welcome back.
Need to have some bigger eyes. Get the glasses checked here, Burkhardt. I got you.
Welcome back in the Blazers Game Day. Chris Burkhardt here with you, joined by Brendan Slaughter. Blazers in Florida to take on the Orlando Magic today. They did take a tough loss to the Miami Heat. And now they get to take on another team that has goals and aspirations and is kind of struggling out of the gate a little bit. They've just looked like it's just not working, really. Like that's what, like if you had to like put something on it, be like, what is it about Orlando? It's like, okay, it just something's off. Obviously, they made the big splash to get Desmond Bane, and that has definitely not worked for this team. They got two really good forwards in Bencaro and Franz Wagner, but looks like it's a struggle to get them to play together. Right now, Magic out of the gate, they're 4-6. And quite frankly, I think if you're a Magic fan, that's a little disappointing. You had some expectations for this team, maybe for the first time in a long time. Last year, they were 41-41, 7th seed in the East. And you were expecting to maybe have a good jump out of the gate. You have teams like Milwaukee, who obviously they lost Dame at the end of last year. They've had to rearrange some stuff. They're 6-4. The 76ers have looked good without prime Joel Embiid. Like they look like VJ Edgecombe's just a stud. And the Bulls started hot out of the gate as one of the last remaining undefeated teams. They're at 6-3. I mean, it's still early on. I mean, the difference between an 11th place Orlando Magic team and a 5th place Miami team right now is just 2 games. But the thing is, you can't let these things spiral out of control. You got to figure it out. I mean, Brooklyn, Indiana, and Washington combined have fewer wins than Orlando does. Coming back from those 1-9 starts is going to be hard. And Orlando is right there, 4-6, but they got to figure something out. Like I said, they're a team that definitely has goals and aspirations. And they have just for the long time just kind of been there, just treading water. They haven't done anything that just made you go, oh, they're good. They go get Shaquille O'Neal, and then the wheels fall off, and that dynasty falls apart before it can ever be built. Then they get the second coming of Shaquille O'Neal. Things look good, and that falls apart. They have Aaron Gordon. It doesn't work out. They trade him. He becomes the missing piece in Denver to win them a championship. And so it's just we can't have nice things is what it feels like sometimes to be an Orlando Magic fan. So things just have not clicked out of the gate. Now, Bencaro's looked good, 22.8 points, 9 rebounds per game, 4 assists per game. He is the team leader in all 3 categories. Franz Wagner at 22.3 points per game. But Desmond Bane has been a massive disappointment. They made the move for him thinking, okay, Anthony Simons might be available because there was always the long rumor about connecting him with Orlando, since he is from that part of the country. He is from Orlando, and that just makes sense. Give us a shooter. And then they go out and they make the big splash, trade all the picks to get Desmond Bane. And like, this one makes sense because he's like Anthony Simons. He's just better defensively. But he's like on offense, he's a stud. He can go score you the ball. He's going to be able to get you points. That just has not been the case early on for Desmond Bane. It's been a struggle to get into a groove. Desmond Bane averaged 21 points in 22-23, averaged 24 points just under in 23-24. Last year in 69 games, that dropped down to about 19.6, but you would still expect, like, okay, he's still going to give you that 20-point range. This year he's averaging 14.2 points per game as the Magic's 3rd leading scorer, and then Jalen Suggs is there at just 8 games played. He's averaging 12 points. He's averaging 3.8 boards, 4.4 assists. So again, and then it just kind of tapers off from there. So this is a team that they got some good top end guys, especially in Franz and Paulo, but this team might end up having to make another move at some point just to get things to click because things aren't clicking. So if you're the Blazers, you go in and you take advantage of it. Someone's losing streak ends today because both the Magic and Portland have lost 1 game. This is the type of game that Portland absolutely needs to take advantage of. course, we said that with the Lakers when they came in injury depleted. That team, maybe they still could click. They showed it. This team, Orlando, they struggled to click at times. And you just got to take advantage of it. Don't be the team that is their get right game. We've talked about that in the past. Portland tend to be the get right game for a lot of teams. Don't be their get right game. Just go in to Orlando and take care of business. Now, I did promise we would talk a little college football before we left today, and we got a few minutes here in the break, so it's time for Beavers Game Day with Brendan Slaughter. And Brendan,
I feel like one of your kids, Chris.
Yeah.
Do we have to?
Do we have? Yes, you have to eat your vegetables.
Okay.
Just like sometimes you have to eat an Oregon State loss. My question to you, Brendan, is where do they go from here? What is the answer? Because right now this is trying times for Beaver fans, and the unfortunate part is like, you know what? If trying times were all created equally, it'd be one thing. You're like, I've been here, done that. But like the last time you suffered through trying times, which was Gary Anderson, there was a lot more than just bad football, right? This is just bad football. Like bad football. How do you losing to Sam Houston State, a team that has only been a Division I team for 2 years on your home field, no less, is inexcusable, Brendan.
Yeah, no, it was bad. I mean, there's no way to sugarcoat it. They need to get through the end of this season, and they need to nail their next hire. That's pretty much all you can say at this point. Like, it's so telling how bad they need a reset, and I think at this point that's all you can do. Like, you have to get through the next 2 games and close out the season, do all the things you have to do, but really the real game, Chris, now being played is who you're going to hire.
That is the $1 million question, or the $1.5 million question. How much money do you throw around for that? I don't know. Maybe you've just vetted a little bit better than you vetted some of the other things that have come through town. But it is a big time hire. I think this is, I don't know, maybe it's dramatic, but it's like this is either the hire that gets you out and back in the right direction, or it's the hire that just continues to spin tires. And the longer you spin tires is the more that every other university gets further and further away from you down the road. You can't afford to spin the tires anymore.
No, I agree wholeheartedly. I think it's just you don't want to necessarily go with the safe hire, but maybe the safe hire and getting back to 6, 7, 8 wins is what you need, So it's you kind of weighing both sides of the coin.
I'm going to tell you this. I always preface this, Brendan, I don't like to do the Oregon comparison just because they're down the road, but it's what I know. I'm a Duck fan, right? Willie Taggart was not the safe hire. Willie Taggart was a risk. Willie Taggart was going away from everything that had been comfortable for so long. They went from Bellotti to Chip to Helfrich with keeping all the same coordinators, right? All the same coordinators because they like that comfort zone. And then Taggart changed that. And there's a lot of Duck fans that will poo-poo him. I will not. He changed how the program approached a lot of things. Then they went with Cristobal, who was on his staff. Cristobal leaves. They went with Dan Lanning, a left field hire, defensive coordinator, Georgia. Well, everyone wanted Wilcox. Remember, they went with the uncomfortable hire, and look what it's done. And I only bring that up because I think that's what Oregon State needs to do. Jonathan Smith was the comfortable hire. Now, a little bit different. If for some reason Jonathan Smith is available, if I were a Beaver fan, I'd welcome him back. I don't know about you. But Trent Bray was the comfortable hire, okay? You can't do that. You got to swing from the left field. You got to hire someone that no one thinks about, or someone that maybe you take pause for a second. Like, really? That guy? Why? Because I think that getting out of that comfort zone, I think, is going to be really, really important for a team like Oregon State. And as much as I am a Duck homer, I'll tell you this: I don't want that team to tread water. I do not want that team to spin their tires in the mud. I want them to be able to go down I-5 at full speed, because good things happen when both programs are winning ball games. All right, we're going to take a quick little break. When we come back here on Blazers Game Day, it's time for our keys to the game. What did the Blazers need to do to grab a victory in Orlando against the Magic? I will let you know after the break here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. Well, if you're the Blazers, a key to the game is just stick with what you're doing here. Okay, I know that sounds dumb, but the team has been playing good basketball. They stuck with Miami. It obviously got the win over OKC. It got the win over Denver. This team can win ball games. So I wouldn't go back to the drawing board and erase everything and then completely start my blueprint anew. Just keep doing what you're doing, but you just got to focus on the little things. Maybe do the things you do well, do that more. Okay? Put the pressure on Orlando. Make them turn the ball over, lead to your easy buckets. That's one thing you're going to need to do if you're the Blazers. The turnover number was pretty low against Miami. Find a way to change that. They beat you in that realm. You need to get over there and force Orlando to turn the ball over. Orlando comes in bottom 10 when it comes to turnovers per game. They average 16.8 turnovers, as were the Blazers, number 1 in steals, 11.2. So Orlando doesn't take great care of the ball, and you find ways as a team to always make the other team find a way to turn the ball over. If you're Portland, do that some more. Also, if you're Portland, you got to be smart with how you attack the basket. I do say you need to get there. You need to try to get to the free throw line more. Obviously, that hurt you against the Heat. But Travis Demers dropped a good stat on the radio the other day about how the Blazers are like bottom 4 in the league at shots getting blocked. Like teams average a lot of blocked shots against the Blazers, and you have an Orlando team right now that is top 6 in the league in block shots, averaging 5.6 per game. So if you go into the attack the rim and you don't go up strong, that's going to lead to easy blocks. That's going to lead to easy buckets. And that is how a team who has struggled to click and struggled to really get their footing gets by you and wins a ball game. So be not conservative. That's not the word, but be strong. Keep control of the ball. Still want to attack the rim, get them into foul trouble, but understand that this is the team that's going to make you work. Just don't let them get away with their strengths. And then lastly, it does sound dumb, but it's what you got to do is you got to just be better shooting the ball. The Blazers right now, they are 3rd in the league in 3-point shot attempts at 43.1. They are 9th in the league at 3-point makes at 14.2. So top 10 in both categories, but they are bottom 5, 5th worst in the league in 3-point percentage. So you got to find ways to get that 3-pointer to fall. Like I said, you're going to live by it. You are going to die by it. Obviously, when you are top 3 in the league in attempts, but you're also in the bottom in percentage, you're taking a lot, you're not making a lot, and that's going to lead to long rebounds, easy points for the other team. To put it in perspective, Houston is the number 1 3-point shooting team right now at 42.8%, followed by Minnesota at 41.6%, and then Milwaukee rounds it out at 40.1%. The 3 teams at over 40%, and Portland is shooting just 33. It's a little bit better than the 29.8 of Indiana, though. Do those things, win a ball game so that we have something fun to talk about. Brendan can't talk about another loss, guys. Won't somebody please think about Brendan Slaughter? Because I know I am. All right, coming up next across the Trailblazers audio network, Chad Dewing has the Trailblazers pregame show, and then tip-off at 4 o'clock in Orlando with our guy Travis Demers on the call. And, of course, after the game, keep it locked in to Rip City Radio for the 5th quarter, where hopefully we're breaking down a Trailblazers victory. Rip City, I'll talk to you after the game.